Delphi, Indiana, a typical rural Midwestern city with a true main street with quiet neighborhoods surrounded by sprawling farms. Just 90 minutes northwest of Indianapolis, Delphi sits along the historic Wabash and Erie canals. Transportation put Delphi on the map, although today the area is largely farmland. Residents have long considered Delphi a safe place to raise their families. But that changed forever in February of 2017, when Kelsey German dropped off her little sister Libby and her best friend Abby Williams at the historic Monon High Bridge, where people like to hike and take pictures. Police say the girls quickly encountered their killer here on this abandoned railroad. It is in bad shape with wide gaps open to the creek more than 75 feet below. Police say this is the man who followed them on that bridge. The grainy, unclear image appears to show the man wearing baggy, light-washed jeans. He could be wearing a hat. He could have facial hair. Libby took this video with her cell phone. During the recording, the man gave them an order. Police won't say what happened next, but on February 14, 2017, the bodies of Abby and Libby were found along the creek, a half-mile from the bridge. Cops say it was a brutal murder.
We are following breaking news tonight out of Indiana. Someone has murdered 2 girls.
The search is on for a killer in the small city of Delphi.
Oh, everybody's upset. They just can't believe somebody would do that to those little girls.
Delphi, it's always quiet, but today feels different. You can feel the pain.
Where a manhunt is still underway for the killer or killers of these 2 young girls.
Within months, police released this sketch saying the description came from 2 witnesses. They thought he was a man in his 40s or 50s who may have been passing through, maybe a truck driver. Someone who could kill 2 girls and not feel any remorse. Well, police now say that man is not involved and they are looking for someone new.
I believe you have just a little bit of a conscience left. 2 children. Only a coward would do such a thing.
2 years into this massive investigation, the multi-agency task force shocked the city by releasing this sketch of the new suspect.
It made me very nervous, yeah.
This is a depiction of the man who police now believe followed the girls on the high bridge and murdered them. They say he's younger than they first thought and is probably from Delphi and could still be living among the families of his victims. They say he's the kind of guy living a double life. The kind of person who would show up to the news conference to hear what investigators had to say.
Directly to the killer, who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight. For more than 2 years, you never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We know that this is about power to you. And you want to know what we know. And one day, you will. A question to you. What will those closest to you think of when they find out that you brutally murdered 2 little girls? We are confident that you have told someone what you have done.
Investigators also released the first new evidence from Libby's cell phone in 2 years. Additional audio from the video that Libby captured.
She was able to capture that, what we see, and then the sound. Do you think she did that on purpose?
Absolutely. I think she saw this person coming towards them and just sensed that something wasn't right. Probably was going to record it and come home and show us and say, look, there was a weird guy, you know.
Residents tell me the new direction in the investigation shocked them. Most hadn't considered the suspect could be living among them, next door even. They say the state police superintendent was trying to force a response.
I think he was trying to rattle or kind of shake someone out of the woods if he was like hiding in the background, you know, so make him think that maybe, yeah, we do know who you are and it is just a matter of time.
Wherever you are, we're going to get you. We're going to find you. That new announcement has done little to answer the big questions in this case. Number one, who did this and why?
Yeah, that is the question in Delphi and everywhere else. Why wait 2+ years to release the additional audio, as we heard? It said, guys down the hill, sound from Libby's cell phone, and the video of that person walking on the bridge, who police believe is the man that killed those girls. And I was there, Mike, as you know, in Delphi on that bridge. It's about 75 feet up. I mean, it is frightening. And the man on that bridge looks like, oh, he's just walking on the sidewalk. Want to bring in our guests now. Casey, let's talk to you first. I was there at the presser. A lot of anxiety in the room. And the authorities took aside the family members first, about an hour prior to the announcement, telling them the details they know. I saw a couple family members coming out crying, the grandmother of Libby saying, I'm anxious. And I felt that way too. You felt sort of anxious. And then they unveiled the new sketch.
Right.
It was hidden by a red board, armed police officer guarding that, and this is what was released. And there was a gasp in the room because this looks completely different from the other sketch.
And that was all intentional. The tension building, the orchestrated nature of it, the delivery of it, the unveiling of the new photograph, basically the announcement that everything we've been looking at for the last 2 years is moot. Pay attention because this is the guy we're looking for. And that one line, he could be in the room, was meant to send shivers down your spine. And I guarantee you that law enforcement was there scanning the room, looking to see if anyone not only looks like this, but got up and left or looked really nervous, or, you know, it was meant to provoke the killer. Now, do they really expect him to be in the room? No, they had to consider that was a possibility. But really what they're trying to do is reignite interest in this case with this new sketch, because this represents who they're looking for now. They have a new vision. And one of two things, they either know a lot about this person, they have a particular person in mind, and the sketch really looks like him, or they have a new witness and they are really needing more tips to bring it all together so that they can actually match DNA and the evidence they do have on hand with an actual person.
He looks so young to me, Joey, don't you agree?
Baby-faced.
You know, Susan, I was very impressed with that press conference. I was impressed with the whole superintendent, the manner in which he conducted it, and the emotion that he had, too. Excellent job covering it, by the way. I couldn't imagine how you felt being in there, the tension as you raised. But I think it's important when law enforcement is on a case that they don't work in a vacuum. Law enforcement often depends upon communities. What do you know as a community? And it is heartening also that after a couple of years, we know that they're not slowing down. And they're sending the message, you know what, we're on to you, we got you, we think you're a person who's in this community. We're going to release information to everyone, and every man, woman, and child. If you know a person that looks like this, you know someone who looks similar like this, you know someone who walks like that, right? Releasing the audios, the videos, getting all the information together, getting community involvement, and perhaps bringing this person in.
And you don't think they're bluffing?
You know what? Here's what I think, Casey. I think that they're working the case very diligently, but I do think that, you know the saying, see something, say something. And I think that they're really depending and leaning upon a community which is close-knit, tightly knit, you know, a closely knit community, to come forward with anything and everything you know to help us crack this.
And there was a lot of time to give us some time to get there. Maureen, I saw ABC, NBC, Inside Edition. Everybody was there by design, you said?
Absolutely by design, and I thought it was a brilliant strategy. And you're right, they're not giving up at all. They're ramping up, and you can tell that every one of those law enforcement officers was just desperately invested. I think the reason that they took so long to release the video, in part, is due to the fact that when you look at the way this man walks on the bridge, that's not a natural gait, it's not a normal gait. And if you look at the topography as you talked about, those are railroad ties, partially eroded, so you're gonna hop step,
Yeah, you fall, it's over for you.
And not only is it over for you, but it's a horrible depiction of how a person actually walks.
Right.
I think the value in the way, in releasing that extra video that showed the way he walks, is to show that in the initial photograph, he looked very heavy set. But in that video, that short video, you can see that his legs are thinner, and you can see that his jacket is bowed.
So you think he's hiding something under the jacket?
I think he's got all of the things he needs to commit the crime stuffed under that jacket.
Well, I was there 2 months ago, and they said, the lead detective in this, that they had DNA evidence.
What is most important to you of what's new? The increased audio that we hear, the seeing of the gate, an abandoned car, the new sketch, What are you really picking up on?
I got to tell you, Mike, one of the things that kind of haunted me, I think, was probably the audio coming around to that, because now we have a larger sample than we previously had. Remember, it was just down the hill, but then you've got guys, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it implies kind of a connectivity here. He's identifying these little girls, giving them a specific directive, and if you can listen to him say it, it's very bold when he says it. Guys, he gets their attention. Down the hill, I was talking to Maureen just a moment ago, and I think that one of the things that's really compelling here is I wonder if the FBI has come forward and assigned a linguist, not to get a specific identity, but to regionalize that accent, because now they've got a larger sample here, and I think that's going to go a long way to getting this solved.
I don't know about you guys, but I say that all the time, even to my kids, like, guys, come here. Guys. It's familiar to me.
And I think it also, and it suggests a younger suspect. I really do think. I think it's far more likely that somebody in their 20s would say, guys, come, or maybe he knows them. You never know. Might know
You've
them.
seen it. You know, this is a population less than 3,000.
Yes.
You've got to think they're closer to